So we already have it set up for the term loan A. So for the term loan B, it's gonna be, we grab the interest expense for the term loan B, have it there. Then for the subordinated debt, we will grab the cash interest expense. In this case, we're grabbing only the cash interest expense, so we have to make sure that for the subordinated debt, we have the cash interest expense. We grab only the cash interest expense, and then the total interest expense is going to be the sum of the, here we have it equal to the sum of the term loan A, term loan B, line of credit, subordinated debt. We have the total interest expense though. So we can take this and fill it right with Control R. So in this case, we are accounting for the cash interest expense. So in order to arrive at the cash net interest expense, we have to offset this interest expense by the interest income. Recall that we calculated the interest income based on the balances, the term deposits that this private equity had on the bank. So we had the interest income of this amount. So in this case, we will just make that negative because we want to offset this interest income going forward to arrive at the cash net interest expense, because this interest expense is tax deductible. This will later on reduce our taxes going forward to be paid in the future. So we will later on reference this cash net interest expense in the income statement, which reduces taxes to be paid by this company or by this private equity. So that's why we have to offset it by any interest income that was received as a result of term deposits. So in this case, it's just gonna be equal to, we have it set up there. We can now fill this right with Control R. So we have that set up there. So for the cash net interest expense, we just calculated it here. We reference that amount, and then we will now have to add to the payment in kind interest, which was the accrued interest for the subordinated debt. So we have the interest accrued every year. 60% has been accrued and 40% has been paid to them cash. So we have to reference that peak amount. So we have to make sure that we reference the peak amount. So that's the accrued interest here, the payment in kind interest. So we will sum all of those, and then we can take this and fill it right with Control R. So now we're almost done with the summary section. Now we are about to account for our equity schedule. So we will be doing this. So we just have to reference some years for the projected period. So the equity at the beginning of the transaction, we'll have to reference that amount. So we know fully well that the sponsor and the management equity was roughly $78 million. So we have to reference whatever the sponsor equity was at this point in time. So we are saying that the sponsors put in approximately $74 million, but if we have to add to it the management rollover, it's gonna be approximately $78 million. So in this case, the total equity capital injected into this private equity was this amount. So we reference that to be that amount. It's roughly $78 million. So it's gonna be a cost score calculation, and then Since this tranche of debt bears the highest risk, we know that we had an assumption where this tranche of debt might be paid dividends, but not sure because all of the other tranches of debt must be paid first. So, but we just have an assumption that if ever there was going to be dividends payments, then we will have to include that in additions to whatever the equity value will be in this particular leverage buyout. So basically, we have here the issuance of equity and the repurchase of equity. So we already set up an assumption for this in our input section. So we have to go down to reference any additions or repurchase of equity. So in this case, in the base case, we have it set up there. It is zero out because in this particular leverage buyout, we don't have any issuance or repurchase of equity, but we're just referencing that in case there's going to be any issuance or repurchase. So we already set up the repurchase as negative and the issuance as positive in the input section, so that we can now use the sum function to now take the opening balance, we add the issuance of equity, and we deduct the repurchase of equity. We can take this and fill it right with Control R. Having it said and done, to account for the retained earnings will be affected by, in this case, will be affected by the total fees that were issued as a result of this transaction. Remember that the investment bankers, they came into this transaction to issue debt on behalf of the